Hey guys, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. Today we will see what if Naruto x femme-tailed beasts. If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments. It was October 10th, the day of celebration for many as this was the day the great Kyuubi or nine-tailed beast was defeated by their mighty fourth Hokage who when trying to seal the beast into one of his newborn children, the previous Hokage Lord Third came and stopped him from sacrificing himself and instead did it himself. He was able to seal half of the Kyuubi's chakra into one of his sisters and the other into the other sister while the brother got the soul of the Kyuubi. Even though Kushina the previous Jinchuriki was supposed to die, she survived thanks to the medical teachings of Tsunade Senju who helped heal her. After that event many thought it was all over and everything would go back to normal. But what no one knew was that when the Third used the Death Reaper seal, the Reaper of Souls not only sealed the fox, but also something that made him the Reaper of Souls and claimed its first soul. The soul of a mighty god that to this day still lays dormant. A boy no older than 5 was running down the streets of Konoha as an angry mob of villagers were chasing the little frightened boy who was looking exhausted and made the mistake of turning a corner only to be stopped by a dead end. He tried to turn around and run, but the mob was blocking his path and had on vicious smirks. "Finally we got you, demon," said one of the village mobs. Now to some people this would look wrong, but to these people it didn't, for in their minds they find the child of the fourth Hokage nothing more than the Kyuubi reincarnated. It was because of this that they tried to harm the boy each chance they got, and no one cared, not even the boy's parents, because for most of Naruto's life he has been neglected for his sisters who were supposed to be the child of prophecy, which means that they get more treatment than him and he gets left out of the family to defend for himself as he just watches his sisters take all the affection while he gets none. Now Naruto just watches as he is beaten to a pulp with no one to stop them and no one to care as he gets beaten by their fists or feet. While some use knives or pitchforks, Naruto feels like he has lived for nothing and that no one will care if he dies, but they will be happy, and that just makes him sick. Probably his parents wouldn't care either way and be happy that he died. "That might be true, little one," said a deep, but calm voice that made Naruto open eyes to see himself in some kind of rocky land surface as everything looked destroyed. "Huh? Where the heck am I?" said Naruto to no one in particular. "That would be me," said the same voice, only this time bigger and closer. Naruto turned around only to jump in surprise as a large animal of some kind over 300 feet stood on 2 of its feet with arms that were short like a T-Rex, but were longer and better used for grabbing stuff. It also had dark green skin along with several spikes on its back that each went down his back and ended at each of his 10 tails that were wide, but also skinny enough for it not to get tangled or in the way of walking. What are you and where exactly are we?" asked Naruto. "Well, if you would sit down and let me explain," said the giant creature as Naruto closed his mouth and sat down on the rocky surface. "Good, now if you're wondering where we are, this is a part of your mindscape that I reside in, and I am not a what? I am a god who is hailed to be the mightiest beast, even more than the legendary 10 tails. "So wait, if you're a god then why is someone like you stuck in me?" asked Naruto. "Well, it's because I have been trapped by that damn Reaper who stopped me by taking my soul and putting it in his stomach, where I was stuck for over a millennia until the day the Kyuubi attacked and the Shingogami finally freed me, or so I thought, but just put me inside of you," said the giant god. "Oh, well, since you're in my mind I might as well introduce myself," said Naruto with his fist held up to the giant god. "Well, my name was of a god and I was known by many as Godzilla. But my real name is Geo, since everyone needs a name," said the now identified Geo. "Yeah, that's true, but anyway Geo, how do I get out of here?" asked Naruto. "Why would you want to go back? Naruto, you know that you will just die, and before you say anything I have to tell you that even though I am powerful I can still die, and if you die then I will as well," said Geo. "So you will die with me?" said Naruto as looked at the ground before looking at Geo with a determined look in his eye. "Then I will start to stand up for myself and you as well, because they can beat me all they want, but hurting you or killing me is something I will not tolerate," said Naruto. "Good, because I don't want to die just yet, but anyway the Kyuubi's soul was trapped in you, but I have been suppressing it so it won't release any of its chakra. Although if you want you could use my chakra, it is actually easy to control my chakra if you have the right chakra coils, and since I was sealed in you at birth this should be perfect, because my chakra is more, how should I say this, natural. It is actually chakra from nature and it is really useful," said Geo. Sweet, and if this chakra makes you powerful, then that means I will be also, said Naruto. Yup, and if we pull this off I can start to train you in the ways of a god, said Gio. Really you would train me, asked Naruto. Yup, since this parent of yours don't, said Gio. Anyway, start by standing still while I give you chakra. Naruto quickly stood still as dark green chakra leaked out of his body and into Naruto's until he was covered in a dark green sphere. Good luck, young one. Outside his mindscape, the villagers felt like they did enough damage and were ready to go home when a voice they didn't expect to hear. Where you think you're going? Said Naruto as a dark green chakra surrounded him and one tail formed behind him as several small spikes formed in the back. The first ones to act were the ones that were ninja in the mob as they tried to kill the demon, but didn't get far before they went to the ground with a thud as no one saw how Naruto took out 5 chunin by himself. Now don't mess with me or you get the same thing. Good boy, this is your first time and you already have good control over my chakra, said Gio. Huh, Gio, was that you? Where are you? Said Naruto in a low whisper. I am talking with you by thoughts, so just think of something to say to me and well I can respond or we could just talk, but anyway it looks like the mob has left so you better move before Enbu get here, said Gio as all the mob ran away when they saw the only ninja in the group fall. Naruto nodded his head before disappearing in pure speed that would rival the 8 inner gates. Say Gio, where should I go? I mean I can't go home and I don't know if I should leave, asked Naruto. Well, there is a forest not far from here, we could enter there and hide there till this cools down, said Gio. Alright then let's go, said Naruto as he jumped over rooftops in a blur. Before long he stopped at the gates of a large forest and a sign that said Forest of Death. Hey Gio, are sure this is the right place? It looks kinda scary, said Naruto. Don't worry Naruto, you will be safe thanks to me being in you. No animal that is in there will try and get to you, said Gio. Okay, said Naruto as he jumped over the large fence before walking into the forest with a worried look, but after a couple of minutes of walking he started to lose the worry for a small amount of bravery. So Gio, where are we going? Just keep on going and I will explain, said Gio. After about 30 minutes of walking later, Naruto found himself staring wide-eyed at some kind of large waterfall with trees that were like any regular trees and a stream that came from the waterfall. Wow, said Naruto as he looked at the sight before him and calmly walked to the waterfall, putting his hand in it, feeling the current going down into the rest of the forest. Alright Naruto, we will stay here for about a day or two and we will try to work on your chakra control, said Gio. Sweet, I finally get some training, said Naruto. Gio just smiled as Naruto was jumping around about him being trained and knew that when the Shinigami might put him in this boy, he made a wise choice and maybe when he is ready he will let the boy sign the contract that only a god can sign, and Kami was the last person to sign it. 7 years later. It was a bright day in the village hidden in the leaves as the people woke up to the sound of the forest around their village. One of its people was in a huge forest resting on a piece of rock that was in the middle of a stream with the sound of the waterfall supplying the waterfall. The person on the rock was a boy no older than 12, was sitting on the rock in nothing but a pair of black shorts and no shirt, showing people his well-developed body for someone his age. He had 4 tattoos of some kind that were dark green and the size of an apple that was of a spiral like the Uzumaki. He had blonde hair with clear sky blue eyes that went well with his 3 wicker marks on each of his cheeks. This boy's name was Naruto and he has been training in this very spot in the Forest of Death for nearly 7 years with his 2 teachers, Gio, also known as Godzilla, and the 9-tailed beast the Kyuubi, who Naruto met 3 years after his training with Gio, and unlike with Gio he wasn't so nice to him or Gio. After a while Kyuubi started to warm up to the Naruto, where soon he was starting to get trained by Kyuubi, who said he would not have a weak container, but after that and a little training Kyuubi finally trusted him to tell him his name was Kurama. It was 2 years later that Gio was able to control the seal so that Naruto was able to open the seal. When the time came and with the help of Gio, Kurama was able to restore most of its chakra, and when that time came he faced Kurama, which was a tough battle without Gio's chakra, but with the years of training in his own skills he was able to not only beat the Kyuubi, but also took half of its chakra, which he soon mastered thanks to both of their help in less than 3 months. And not long after that Gio thought he was ready to sign the contract of the gods, and when he was told he had to be approved by the boss, Gio told him he was the boss summon, and for being a good kid he was allowed to summon creatures that are as powerful as the gods. Naruto was also trained to become the new sage of the gods, where it would take many years, but Naruto surprised Gyo by finishing the training in about a week. But he would need to be still in order to enter sage mode, but that to the 4 tattoos, with 2 on each of his side holding their own sage chakra so that he would not need to gather it and be open for an attack. Naruto was also able to master his father's and mother's jutsus, which only took him about 5 months, along with perfecting the Rasengan in all 4 of his affinities, which were fire, lightning, water, and wind. His affinity training would have took him almost 5 years had it not been for the shadow clone technique he had learned while he was 7 and looking through his dad's studies. It still took him 4 months before he was done with his affinities. He started to learn all of the element jutsus that Gyo and Kurama knew. It took him about 6 months, even with the help of shadow clones. But in the end, Naruto was able to be the best sage ninja that Gyo and Kurama imagined. Right now, if he were to test himself, he would probably be able to take on all 5 cages, and if maybe he could win. But even without Gyo's or Kurama's chakra, even sage mode, he would still be a tough opponent to beat even for a Junin. While his training was doing great things at home were not. He was still being ignored even by his own twin sisters, and every time he would come home he would be attacked by villagers, who he would escape from easily, or locked out, which meant that he would be sleeping in the forest where he now called home. He tried one more time for training, but still got nothing, and worst of all, he was revoked of his clan heir status as his 2 sisters Naruko and Mito got the clan heirs. Naruko being the Namikaze heir and Mito being the Uzumaki heir. Ever since then he had been getting farther away from his family and start to hate them, but not hate them enough that he would want them dead, but just hate them. Gyo and Kurama even agreed to that idea. Now Naruto just sits on the rock drawing in sage chakra for his tattoos that store the extra sage chakra. Naruto just finished the academy for today and will be happy tomorrow when the graduation exams begin tomorrow, and that he will finally get out of that school that only teaches the basics and not the real ninja stuff that you need to survive in school. Even though the teachings are junk, most of the kids in the class that are clan heirs are pretty good, but they will die quickly if they aren't trained properly. Naruto opens his eyes, which are a golden color, and there are dark green pygmies surrounding his eyes. He gets up from his spot and looks up in the dark skies. It's night already, thought Naruto. Yup, so you better get home so no one gets suspicious, said Gyo. Alright, said Naruto with a dull voice as he starts walking down the path that led out of the forest of death. When he walked out, he started to walk through the streets of Konoha as he was getting glares from the villagers, but just ignored them like he always does since he really didn't care anymore. It took him a couple of minutes, but he was able to arrive at his house to see decorations on it. So it's my birthday, probably forgot to get their son something, thought Naruto. Namikaze house. Inside the Namikaze household, Kushina and her 2 daughters were setting up the decorations for the 3 children of the 4th Hokage and the Red Death. Over the years, Kushina started to realize how much she was avoiding Naruto along with the rest of the family, and when she told Minato, he also felt bad for he ignored training him along with her as he would ask. But that was about 4 years ago, and ever since then Naruto has been getting farther and farther away from the family, never being seen in the house more than twice. Kushina promised herself that she would make sure that he becomes part of the family, and her husband and children also agreed with her, saying that they felt it was their fault and that they would try and bond more with their son, brother. Now as Kushina is finishing with putting the last of the decorations up, she felt a presence behind her, and as she turned around she came face to face with her husband and the 4th Hokage, Minato Namikaze. "Hello hun, hard day," said Kushina as she gave her husband a kiss. "Yeah, but after today we will make sure Naruto is part of the family and that he is properly trained. I am sure that he will forgive us," said Minato as she gave her wife a reassuring smile. Kushina just smiled as her 2 daughters entered the room. "Mom, we are finished with the decorations," said Mito. "Good job girls, now let's get dinner set up so we can tell your brother," said Kushina. Both girls smiled, knowing that they were finally going to get their brother back, because ever since they realized what they were doing they both felt bad and tried to bond with their brother, but every time they did they would be stopped by their fan club or he would just disappear after class. So they wanted to make sure he was part of the family. By the time dinner came around, everyone except Naruto was at the table waiting patiently for the last of their family. As if on cue, the front of the door opened and Naruto walked into the dining room, and to his surprise his family was waiting for him. "What the, it looks like they are waiting for me," thought Naruto. They probably realized what they did and are trying to make it up to you, said Gio. Wow, and it only took them 7 years to realize this, pathetic, said Kurama. Naruto just glared at the people he had to be related to, but didn't say anything as he just sat down with the others and started to eat his food fast so that he wouldn't have to be around with his family. As he ate his food, his father thought this would be a good time to tell his son. Naruto, I got some good news. Naruto just kept on eating, but still listened to what his father had to say. Starting tomorrow we can start your training in the Uzumaki and Namikaze style, said Minato, hoping his son would be jumping up and down, but was surprised to see his son looking at him with an emotionless face. Kushina and her daughters were also surprised when Naruto didn't look happy about being trained. Naruto Nisan, isn't you happy that you are going to be trained, said Naruto. No, in fact I don't even know if you guys are just trying to forgive me for not being there for me or that you're just trying to get my hopes up about being trained before being crushed, said Naruto as he put his plate in the sink, before walking up to his room. Kushina along with Naruto were crying out for what Naruto said, while both Mito and Minato were down at their food with a sad expression on, thinking how bad of a father they have been. After dinner everyone went to their rooms to get ready for tomorrow's party. While a certain blonde child snuck out of his room and headed towards his other home in the Forest of Death. Next day, the party that everyone in the Namikaze household was celebrating was going great as many guests arrived from many different clans like the Haigua, Uchiha, Nara, etc. Naruto and Mito were having fun with their friends while the adults were talking with one another until it came time for cake and birthday presents. Then that is when everyone gathered around to give presents to both Mito and Naruto. Both of the girls were thankful for the gifts, and they were even more thankful when both Jiraiya and Tsunade both allowed them to sign the Toad and Slug contracts, which made both of them proud. It wasn't until they had signed them that Naruto asked if her brother could sign it, and almost everyone who heard her were saddened as they did not get anything for the only son, but would get him something later on. Jiraiya agreed that he could sign the contract and asked where he was, but no one knew where he was, not even Minato or Kushina. It wasn't until a girl named Hinata Haigua, one of the heirs to the clan, said that she saw him in his room sleeping. Jiraiya, Minato, and his family walked up the stairs to Naruto's room, where they went inside only to comfort nothing but a plain room with a bed that looked like it hadn't been touched in days. Minato is the first one to break out of his shock as he calls in the Anbu that were at the party to get search parties and find Naruto. As soon as that is done, everyone leaves the party to go home and find out what has happened to the son of the fourth. Minato and Kushina quickly got into their shinobi gear wanting to try and find their son, while Mito and Naruto stay at home and wait for their brother to come home. As ninja were wandering the streets trying to find the missing Namikaze, and Anbu with a dog mask was following a trail that his summoned dog had found with his team of Anbu, and as the scent got stronger they stopped at an area they hoped Naruto wasn't in, the Forest of Death. The Anbu team quickly called in where they think they have located Naruto, and in no time flat Minato and Kushina along with 2 teams of Anbu arrived. Minato sensei, we have located Naruto's scent into the Forest of Death, said the dog-masked Anbu. What? Yelled Kushina as she was about to run into the forest and killed anything in her path to find her son. Kushina, wait, you can't just go in there. We have to think of something before you barge into a forest that could kill you, said Minato. And we are going to leave our son in there to die, said Kushina as she got loose from Minato's grip before jumping into the forest. Damn, better go get Anko. If anyone knows this forest, it's her. The rest of you follow me, said Minato as he and the rest of the Anbu went to do their separate jobs. It didn't take long before they caught up with Kushina, who was looking at something, and when the rest of the group turned to see what she was staring at, they had widened eyes of shock as they saw many animals and bugs of all kind beaten and slaughtered with body parts everywhere, with no one telling where each part goes. Some of the Anbu were about to throw up, but hold it in. What the hell happened here? Asked one of the Anbu. I don't know, but we better find Naruto and fast, said Minato. They keep on moving as the scent gets stronger till they reach a clearing where once they enter they are relieved to see Naruto sitting on top of a rock meditating and not realizing that they are there. But before they could speak, a giant tiger came out of the bushes charging at Naruto, and just as Minato and Kushina were about to stop the tiger from hurting their son, a dark green chain came from the ground, piercing the tiger right through the heart as it fell over dead. The next minute 3 more tigers came out, But they didn't get close to Naruto as 3 more chains of chakra came out of the ground wrapping all 3 of the tigers up, and as they tried to get free they were silenced by a sword chopping all 3 tigers' heads off. Naruto still had his eyes closed, but you could see a faint pygmy of dark green circling around the eyes, but disappeared afterwards as Naruto opened his eyes to give the ninja that interrupted his training a hard glare as he put his dark green sword back in its sheath. "Can I help any of you?" asked Naruto. Minato was the first one to get out of his shock as he looked at his son. "Naruto, we worried about you when we didn't find you in your room." But Naruto looked at him with a boring gaze. "So you finally noticed that I am gone. Wow, it took you 5 years to realize that I live and train here now. Wow, what a great father you are, you couldn't even tell that one of your sons is missing," said Naruto in a sarcastic voice. Minato and Kushina were shocked at their son's outburst, but couldn't say anything as he continued to talk. "Oh, and don't forget all the neglect you caused me. Just because my sisters had the Kyuubi's chakra doesn't mean you had to forget about me. But no, you thought if you put more affection in them then they would be strong. Well, guess what, they will never be strong ninjas, for without the soul of the Kyuubi they will lose control of the chakra, or if lucky the chakra will disappear leaving them without something that makes them precious to you," said Naruto. This shocked everyone there, but no one more than Minato and Kushina, as they felt horrible that they ignored their son for their daughters who they thought could control a power that they can't and probably won't control or lose. Kushina was the first one to speak. "Listen Naruto, I know what we did was wrong, but we did not know but wasn't able to finish as Naruto interrupted her. "I don't care what you say, I just want you all to leave, before I show how wrong of a mistake you made," said Naruto. "Naruto, please, we are sorry, we don't want to lose you," said Minato. "Well, sorry Minato, but you lost your son long ago, for I am no longer family with either you or anyone else, and if you want to drag me out then you will have to force me," said Naruto, getting into a fighting stance. "Naruto, we don't want to fight you," said Kushina, who was going to say more, but was interrupted by a hand to her shoulder. "Kushina-chan, if we want to bring Naruto back we are gonna have to use force, but we will make sure he is not hurt badly," said Minato as Kushina looked down with tears in her eyes, thinking that fighting her son was wrong, but he wasn't giving much of a choice. "Alright, but don't hurt him too much," said Kushina. Minato just nodded as he told the 3 teams of Anbu to take Naruto down, but not hurt him badly. All the Anbu gave a nod before 5 of them rushed the blonde, only for them to get a few feet before Naruto appeared in front of them, giving each of them a punch to the stomach that sent them flying into the tress, knocking them out. The rest of the Anbu were shocked at Naruto's power, but quickly got out of it as they were dodging kuniyas being thrown at them. 2 Anbu go through a couple of hand signs before each of them blow out a small fireball. But they did little as Naruto held up one hand sign as he blew out a jet stream of water that hit the fireball, creating a thick mist as Naruto looks around for any sound until he heard the sound of rock moving, and then he looked up when a giant dome of rock fell on top of him, and before he could react lightning was surging through the dome of rock, and after a couple of minutes the lightning stopped as the steam blew away, revealing the landscape being decimated. "Got him," said the dog mask Anbu as he tried to catch his breath. But that was short-lived as a sudden burst of chakra got everyone to look at the dome as it was blown to pieces by a golden claw, and connected to that claw was Naruto in a golden chakra. Think of it like in the show when he tames the Kyuubi's chakra. Everyone was shocked to see Naruto in some kind of golden cloak as he was radiating power that was making both Kushina and Minato shake, as well as most of Konoha, as most of the people felt the power and were remembering about the Kyuubi incident 12 years ago, while most ninja were heading towards the source. This is what happens when you master something that takes years to master, but for me it only took months to master it, and just so you know, Kyuubi isn't that bad of a guy when you are nice and understand what he has felt," said Naruto as he walked out of the ruble. Minato and Kushina tensed up as all the Anbu appeared beside them, some of them supporting other Anbu that got injured. "I will give you one chance to leave or I will force you out," said Naruto in a dark tone as he radiated killing intent. "Naruto, please, whatever we did we can make it up, but please we can make it up to you if you give us a chance," said Kushina with hope and tears that her son would come home. "Sorry Kushina-sama, but I gave you that chance a long time ago, and when you failed to notice me I lost all hope and trained till I felt I was good enough," said Naruto. Kushina was crying her eyes out as she leaned on Minato, who had a frown on his face, but was on the verge of crying as he saw his only son glare at him that he felt like he just lost a piece of himself. "Naruto, please, you don't have to do this," trying and failing to reason with his son. There is nothing that you could offer me, and if you don't leave in the next 10 seconds then you will have a painful beating when you leave this forest, said Naruto with a fierce glare. Minato looked at his son with sad eyes before giving his Anbu a signal to retreat, and as they disappeared he looked at his son and thought of all the mistakes he made before disappearing in a yellow flash. Naruto just sighed as the cloak faded and he was back in his normal clothing as he sat down on the hard ground. You think that was right of you to show them your Kyuubi cloak? Asked Kurama. No, it is all a part of the plan, and besides I didn't show them my other 2 cloaks, and you know that some of the council will want me to put as a weapon, and even if the Hokage doesn't allow it then some of them will go behind his back, said Naruto. He is right, but don't worry, whatever they throw at us we will be ready, and then they will regret messing with a god, said Gio as both Naruto and Kurama smiled at that thought before he got up and walked over to his house. It had been almost a year ever since Naruto moved into the Forest of Death and could only be seen by those who go in the forest, which was not many, but there was one person who went in the forest a lot and become a friend of Naruto, as the person he befriended was none other than Anko Mistress, Konoha's snake mistress. She found Naruto training in the middle of the forest killing most of the animals, and it took every fiber in Anko's body not to ride Naruto, because to her and if anyone else saw they would see perfect muscles and body. Anko befriended him and it took a while, but after some secrets they both shared they became best friends, with Anko telling him how the village was doing and how she would tell the Hokage how his son was doing so he wouldn't try and see for himself, while Naruto helped her the curse seal trying to figure out how to get rid of it. But after a while he and Gio along with some of Kurama's chakra were able to remove it and restore Anko's chakra without any damage, and she repaid him with a bone-crunching hug that he blushed from, because he was near her chest. While Naruto's life was going fine, the 4th Hokage's life was chaos as the council was screaming about killing the boy, because the Kyuubi was influencing him, but after some persuading from his wife they were told that he was not controlled and that it was their fault for not looking out for their son. After he told them of how he was treated badly by his family he almost killed all of the civilian council when one of them said that their Hokage treats the demon like trash, which caused him to boil in anger before having the man killed. After that was over Danzo suggested that they get him back so that he could be used as a weapon, but was shot down. Ever since then many of the civilian council have tried to ask for the boy to be killed or put a seal on him, but they were all shot down. Minato and his family had tried to visit Naruto, but every time they did animals would block their path with notes on them telling them to leave. After which the only times he knew Naruto came out of the forest was when he went to the academy, and even then he or his daughters would hardly see him, but he knew that he was at medium level, which would mean that he was trying, but at the same time not. Minato looked over all the paperwork as he was staring down at the names of this year's graduation class and saw his son. He knew his son would probably hate this, but it was the only way. As he signed the last of the papers he got up from his chair before disappearing in a yellow flash. Forest of Death. It had been a long year for one Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, or as he has now named himself, Naruto G. He took the last name of Gio as he didn't want to be named after the name of his neglected family. Naruto was sitting on top of a huge pointed rock with only a pair of black shorts on, as his eyes had an outline of green and his skin was turning from his white skin to a green as spikes were coming out of his back. So Naruto, what is the plan today? I mean, you do become a ninja today and you are going to get assigned a team, said Gio. I know, but I can live with it till the next Chunin exams. Besides, it's not like whoever I team up with I will be friends with, only teammates who I will protect since I need to pass the Chunin exams and show my skill, said Naruto. You know, kid, I still don't know why you didn't just leave the day of your birthday. It would have been much simpler to not ever see them again, said Kyuubi as it was laying in the hills of Naruto's mindscape. Because it would be too much work just to live out as a Rouge ninja, and besides you know that he will probably take the chance and attack us, and as much as I would love to kill him, I can't, because he would have someone to back him up and I have to deal with his help before going to kill him, said Naruto as he rose off the rock before jumping off it and landing on the stream of water. Naruto walked along the path that led out of the forest as he had already grabbed his stuff that he stored in a storage scroll he had in that was in the bag he was carrying. Once he reached the fence he jumped over it before walking along the path that led to the academy where most people would see Naruto, or at the ramen stand, forgot the name. After a couple of minutes of walking Naruto turned a corner where he stopped and turned around only to see nothing. You can come out now, I know you're there, he said as he was able to sense the person behind him for a while now. After a while a girl almost the same height as Naruto walked out behind a pole as her blue lavender hair shone brightly in the night sky. "Hinata, what are you doing following me around?" he asked with a questioning look. Hinata didn't respond as she was blushing a little and looking down at the ground until after a minute or two she decided to speak. "I was just," but before she could say anything else Naruto put a finger to her lips which made her stop talking and blush like a big red tomato. "Hinata, I know why you were following me and all you had to do was ask." He then kissed her on the lips as Hinata had wide eyes and her face was as bright as Kushina's hair. But after a while she started to kiss back as the two of them kept on kissing for about 5 minutes before they each separated to gather their breath. "Hinata, I knew you loved me when you saw me and I loved you when you saw me. But to be true with you I was waiting for you to wait and tell me, but since we have teams now and we might die on missions then I guess I better tell you before you die," said Naruto as he gave her a big smile. Hinata smiled back as she felt like her life was complete and that she could start to grow confident. "Thank you Naruto-kun, and I hope you don't die early too," said Hinata as she gave him a quick kiss on the cheek. After the kiss Naruto looked at Hinata in the eye with a serious face. "Hinata, I need you to do me a favor, okay?" asked Naruto as all she say was okay where he continued with what he was going to say. "I am going to give you memories and goals I have set myself for the future so that I can know if you trust me and I trust you. Also if it works I will help you train better so that you could become someone who is great and can protect their loved ones. Okay?" All he got was a nod as he gave her a warm smile before putting his hand on top of his head as his hand glowed white for a couple of seconds before it disappeared and Hinata had wide eyes for a split second before going back to normal and giving Naruto a big hug as she cried into his shoulder. "Oh Naruto-kun, I never knew you had that bad of a childhood and if there is anything I could do to help you achieve your goal I will do it," said Hinata as she gave a kind smile that Naruto knew wasn't fake as he also shook his head. "Okay. But first like I promised I will give you power that will help you see your true potential. But not right here, maybe tomorrow after whatever training we have since we do finish the academy today and probably get assigned teams," said Naruto. "Okay. But what about the other plan of having multiple wives since you do have a beast that has a bloodline that can be passed down from him? I mean I won't stop you since I will agree with this decision and as most say the more the merrier," said Hinata with a perverted grin that made Naruto smile. "Alright then, but let's get going and make sure no one finds out unless I say or they are part of our harem," said Naruto. Hinata nodded as both of them walked in separate directions to the academy. After a while Naruto finally made it to the academy just as the bell rang and all the students that were outside started to walk inside and he followed suit where he reached a room where kids from civilians to clan heads were sitting or up and talking with other kids. Naruto walked up the stairs and sat down in one of the corners laying his head down on the desk and closing his eyes and waiting for the teacher to show up. But the moment he closed his eyes the sounds of two girls, one with blonde hair and the other with pink, came into the room yelling and fighting with each other, if you could call it that. Naruto just sighed as these two were the most annoying girls in the classroom that made you want to kill yourself for even standing to hear them. "Those two are the reasons humans are pathetic and make me hate them," said Kyuubiya with a low growl. "For once Kyuubiya, I agree with you. I mean they are supposed to be ninja and they act like weak fangirls for someone who thinks he is God, and counting that he is emo is also an option," said Gio as he and Kyuubiya were watching the two girls fight over who got in first so they could sit next to their Sasuke-kun. "Well, you know girls and love just one of the reasons they are going to die young when they become ninja," Naruto said as he looked at the two girls who were still yelling at each other. After a while the teacher Iruka walked in and quieted down the class as he then started going on about his speech of how proud he was of them, which Naruto just ignored until he started calling out teams, in which case Naruto just ignored most of them till he got to his team, but he probably knew which team he was in. Team 7 will be Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno, insert girly scream, and sigh. Team 8 will be Kiba Inuzuka, Shino Aburm, and Hinata Haigua. Team 9 is still active, so Team 10 will be Shikamaru Nara, Choji Akimsuki, and Ino Yamaka. Iruka was about to continue, but was interrupted by Ino, who complained about being with Lazy and Fatty, but was Iruka told her it was team match so each person could help the other, and after that he continued with the last team. Team 11 will be Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, Naruko Uzumaki Namikaze, and Mito Uzumaki Namikaze. All teams will wait here after lunch for your senseis to pick you up. After lunch everyone was in the classroom talking with friends or with teammates to get to know them better until the door to the room opened and in came a couple of Junin senseis that took their teams. Team 8 got the Genjutsu mistress of Konoha as a sensei. Team 10 got the third Hokage's son Asuma Sarutobi as their sensei. As both of those teams left, the only teams left were Teams 7 and 11, who were wondering who their sensei was and where were they. As if on K, the door to the class opened and a man with sliver-defining hair wearing the normal Junin uniform and a mask that covered the lower part of his face and with his leaf headband covering his right eye. After he was thrown onto the ground, a woman with the normal Junin attire. Red hair that is tied in a ponytail. This woman's name is Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze. Kakashi, how many times do I have to tell you to always not be late to any of your genin teams? Said Kushina as she was about to hit Kakashi over the head. Sorry Kushina-senpai, it won't happen again, said Kakashi with a scared look. As he then turned to the rest of the occupants. Alright Teams 7 and 11, we are your Junin senseis for today and for the test tomorrow, so you all better be ready. Wait Kakashi-sensei, what do you mean by true test? We already took the test, said a slightly confused Sakura. Well, that was a test to get rid of the wanabes, said Kushina. Yup, and out of all the 11 teams only a few will survive, which means you have a 67% chance of failing, said Kakashi. Sounds good enough to me, said Naruto, who was just staring at the ceiling. Alright then, both teams meet us on the roof in 5 minutes, said Kushina as she and Kakashi left by Shinshin. Sasuke, Sakura, and Sai were walking to the roof, while Mito and Naruto were about to ask their brother if he wanted to walk with them, but when they turned around to see that he was gone, leaving them sighing, knowing they lost their chance to spend time with their brother. As both teams walked onto the room, they saw Kushina holding a book and Kakashi on his knees begging for Kushina to give it back, but she wasn't having none of that. Mito and Naruto were laughing at the scene, while the rest of Team 7, except for Sai, who just had a blank expression, just looked at the scene like it was the most pathetic thing in the world. Finally, after 5 minutes of begging, Kushina gave Kakashi his book back, but warned him not to take it out in front of the kids. The both adults then turned their attention to the teams, but Kushina had a confused look in her eye. "Where is Naruto?" she asked, but the others didn't have time to respond as Naruto suddenly appeared before them. "I didn't even sense him," was the thought of both Junins. "Well, since you all are here, let's get to know each other. Tell me your likes, dislikes, hobbies, and dreams," said Kakashi. "Sensei, can you tell us about you first, since we don't know anything about you?" asked Sakura. "Okay then, my name is Kakashi Hitaki, my likes are, well, I have many and I have many dislikes. My hobbies I don't know, in my dream, well, that I won't tell you," he said with a perverted giggle. Kushina just sighed at Kakashi's introduction. "Well, my name is Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze, my likes are ramen, pranking, training, and my family," which got Naruto to scoff. "My dislikes are perverts, traitors, and anyone who makes fun of my hair. My hobbies are spending time with my family," again Naruto just scoffs, pranking, and gardening. "My dream," looks at Naruto then says, "is to bring my family back together," which brought confusion from Team 7 minus Sai, who just didn't show any emotion, but the two Uzumaki Namikaze kids knew what she meant. "Alright, your turn, Mito." "Alright, my name is Mito Uzumaki Namikaze. My likes are ramen, training, and my family. My dislikes are bullies, traitors, and perverts. My hobbies are gardening and training. My dream is the same as Mom's, to bring our family back together," she said with a big grin, which got the same results as when Kushina said her dream as she smiled before looking at her next daughter. "My name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. My likes are training and my family. My dislikes are anyone who is a threat to my family and perverts. My hobbies are drawing and spending time with my family, and my dream is the same as my mother and sister," which got her big smiles from said people. Naruto just ignored them as he didn't care, and ignored the other three as he knew enough about Sasuke and Sakura that one was an Avenger and the other was an obsessed fangirl that would get killed later on. He really didn't need to know a lot about Sai since he knew he was one of Danzo's root agents sent to spy, and he really didn't care since he could handle it easily. He didn't pay attention even when he was called on, just say that his name was Naruto, and they did not need to know anything else, which bothered both his sisters and mother, but they knew they would not give up. "Alright, now that introduction are done, I want both teams to meet me and Kakashi at Training Ground 7 for the test," said Kushina as Kakashi gave a wave before disappearing while Sasuke walked away with Sakura following him like a lapdog. Leaving the Uzumaki Namikaze family, but before anyone could say anything Naruto raised a hand to stop them. Listen, I know the Hokage did all of this and I will just be neutral with all of you since we are a team and nothing more, okay? Said Naruto as he then disappeared in a swirl of leaves. The mother and sisters just looked sad that they could not talk with Naruto longer, but knew he was right for being mad at them and couldn't deny that it was not their fault, but knew it was. The three then walked home as they already knew that Naruto was heading towards his new home, the Forest of Death, but hoped they could bond with him if they passed the test tomorrow. Next day. The next day at Training Ground 7 stood both Mito and Naruto along with Sasuke, Sakura, and Sai, who were waiting for their senseis for at least 30 minutes, but didn't have to wait long until they appeared in Shinshuns to see all their students except for one. "Where is Naruto at?" asked Kushina. "I am up here," said a voice as everyone looked up to see Naruto sitting on a tree reading a book of wind jutsus. "I didn't even sense him," was the thought of both Junin's minds. "Well, now that you are all here, the test will begin," said Kakashi as he took out 5 bells, giving 2 to Kushina as he tied the other 3 to his belt. "Now you 6 have to get a bell from either me or Kushina. But since there is only 5 of you will pass and the one who didn't get the bell will be sent back to the academy." He then gave a eye smile seeing their shocked faces. "Now you have until noon to get 1 bell from either of us," said Kushina as Kakashi set up a timer before she yelled, "Go." And as soon as she said that, they all disappeared with both Kushina and Kakashi smiling as they both went separate ways so that they could each test out their own students or each other's students. As they went their separate ways, they didn't notice a pair of golden yellow eyes watching them from a tree line before they closed and the person disappeared back into the shadows of the trees and appearing a not too far away from where everyone was hiding as Naruto just sat down on the tree he was hiding on as he started to gather natural chakra and talking with his 2 tenants while he just sits back and watches his siblings in Team 7 try to and fail in getting the bells, and even if they somehow got it they would still fail unless they knew the true meaning of the test was teamwork. "So who do you think will bite the dust first?" asked Naruto as he was in open field with Gio leaning against a rock with Kurama sitting on top of the rock. "I'm going with the Uchiha. He will let his attitude get the best of him and try to prove himself by fighting and trying to defeat Junin, thinking he will win, because he is an Uchiha," said Kurama. "I think I'll go with your sister Mito since she looks like someone who will head straight to her death," said Gio as he looked at Naruto with his golden eyes. "Who do you think, Naruto?" he asked as he saw Naruto lay down on the grass in front of them looking at the blue sky. "I don't know, maybe one of my sisters or that Haruno since they will try and get a bell or they will be tested on by one of them," said Naruto as he looked at the clear blue sky without a care in the world. They were like that for a couple of minutes, before they felt the use of chakra making Naruto open his eyes as he used his natural chakra to see where that chakra source came from, and after jumping through the trees for 3 minutes he came to the sight of Mito and Naruto along with Sai fighting with Kakashi, and thanks to his sage chakra he could sense Kushina watching them along with Sasuke and Sakura. He decided to watch the fight till he could find an opening, and as he watched he could tell Kakashi was holding back. But even though he was holding back he was still having trouble dodging from Sai's ink jutsus and trying to fight both Mito and Naruto who were fighting like a team. But after a while the both of them got kicked back to a worn down Sai with any chakra left. As Kakashi was about to say something his shinobi senses kicked in as he jumped away from his spot just as 3 kunai hit the spot he was at. As he looked at the person who threw it he saw Naruto jump down and grab all of his kunai, before bringing out another which was different as it was 3-ponged. Kakashi recognized the kunai as his sensei's kunai when he uses his flying Raijin jutsu, but he thought Naruto was just using it for show until he thrown it at a fast pace missing Kakashi, but just a hair until Naruto appeared in front of him in a yellow flash as he got punched in the stomach blowing the wind out of him, and just when he thought it was over he got punched in the face then the stomach again until Naruto gave him an uppercut that sent him flying up. Kakashi was dazed and couldn't move as he was in too much pain. But before he could even blink Naruto appeared in front of him in midair with his leg up ready to deliver a falling axe kick. But before Naruto could connect a blast of water was shot at him as he was blown away from Kakashi, who landed on the ground with a grunt, while Naruto crashed into a tree. He got up to see Kushina standing beside a badly hurt Kakashi who was using her as support to stand up. "Naruto, I think that is enough, this is supposed to be a test," said Kushina, who was ready for anything her son would do. but had wide eyes when Naruto appeared before her with a kunai to her throat, and before she knew it the bells on her belt were gone as Naruto made a clone that took the other bells from Kakashi before bringing the kunai back into his pouch. "Looks like I pass," said Naruto with a grin as he held up all 5 bells. "Good job Naruto, it looks like you pass, but it seems you have some extra bells. Are you going to share with the others or are you going to keep them for yourself?" asked a hurt Kakashi. Naruto looked at the bells and the rest of his team along with Team 7. He then did something no one expects as he threw 3 bells each to Team 7 along with his team. To be honest, this test was too easy as Sai was the only one on his team to get the true meaning of the test, or either Naruto or Mito told him, since he seems like the only person who would listen. And as for giving the 2 bells to Sasuke and Sakura, I just felt bad for both of them. So there, do we pass or do we need to show more teamwork? Asked Naruto. Well Naruto, you explained it well, and even though you took pity on both Sasuke and Sakura you still gave them the bells. Even one of them didn't do much. But to answer your question on whether I should pass or fail you, I think you should know that both teams pass, said Kakashi with an eye smile. Both teams cheered or smiled at passing their teams. Now both teams will work separate from now on and won't work together unless we decide you guys need to work with other teams, so that means you will work with other teams like 8 and 10. Now Team 11 will meet me in Training Ground 11 while Team 7 will meet at the bridge to Training Ground 7. Now that is all. I will take Kakashi to the hospital, and with that Kushina disappeared in a shinshin. While Sasuke walked back to his house with Sakura following him, Naruto and Mito walking back to their house with Naruto disappearing in a swirl of wind. It was a bright and sunny day as the village hidden in the leaves was busy with business as people were walking down the streets looking through the many stores. There was one group of people in Konoha that were walking down the path to the Hokage Tower as one of the people in the group was carrying a big furry cat that was snuggling in the blonde boy's hand. Naruto, what is your secret in taming animals, as Tora is a crazy cat that many people hate getting as a mission? Asked Naruto as her sister and her mom had some scratches for him holding or trying to hold the cat, while Naruto had little to no scratches on his face. I don't know, animals just seem to love me, said Naruto as they walked into the Hokage Tower to see Minato and Iruka sitting and going over mission with Team 7 there. Hello Minato-kun, we are done with our mission, said Kushina as her team stepped forward with Naruto still holding the cat. Already, but your mission was Tora and that cat is hard to catch even for some of our Junin, said Iruka, who had trouble catching Tora when he was a genin. Well, animals seem to like me, was all Naruto seemed to say as he put Tora in a kennel. Alright then Team 11, that is another mission done. Your next mission is to clean up and help around the Inuzuka kennels, said Minato as he went to grab the folder for the D-rank mission. But a sudden shout from Naruto saying, "No," caused him to look at her, already knowing what she wants. Come on Dad, we have been doing these dumb D-rank missions for nearly 5 weeks, can we please get a better mission than some cleanup duty? She said with the sad puppy dog eyes that made Minato sigh as he knew that he couldn't say no to his daughter's puppy dog eye jutsu. Alright, but we should wait till another team is done with your mission so I can see if you guys can work better with other teams and it helps improve your teamwork in your team as well, said Minato as just as he finished speaking the door to the room opened and in came the team of Kakashi Hitaki Team 7. Hello Hokage-sama, Team 7 reporting from cleaning of garden, he said with his usual carefree attitude. Good Kakashi, and since your team is here you will be doing a C-rank mission with Team 11 to improve both teams' teamwork, that is if you approve of them going on this mission, said the 4th Hokage. Kakashi just closed his one good eye thinking in thought before giving an eye smile to his former sensei. Yes, I think my team could do with a better mission and some more teamwork, said Kakashi, as Sasuke gave a small smirk at getting a better mission, Sakura being a little excited not sure if they were ready, while Sai just had a blank face. Alright then Iruka, bring in the client, said Minato, as Iruka gave a nod before walking to the other room and came back with another man who was wearing a light brown ragged shirt and ragged dark brown shorts along with a straw hat. He also reeked of alcohol if the bottle of sake was any indication. This here is Tazuna and you 8 will escort him to Wave where you will stay and protect him from bandits till he finishes the bridge he is building that will help with better trade, said Minato. These are the ninja that are supposed to protect me. I asked for real ninja, not little shrimps. But the blonde one looks like he is the only one that is professional, said Tazuna, who took a sip of his sake. Naruto gave a small smile at being praised, while the others were glaring at the drunken bridge builder for not being praised or just because he was drunk. Now Tazuna-sama, but these two teams are the best of Konoha, with one being my two daughter and son, while the other is also supportive, said Minato, as he saw the smiles of his daughters and Team 7, but not his son, as he had a blank look on his face. Alright kids, meet us at the south gate in 2 hours, get supplies that will last for about a week or two, said Kushina, as her children and Team 7 gave a hi as they walked out of the tower, while Naruto disappeared in a lightning shinshin. As Tazuna and Kakashi walked out or shinshin out of the tower, Kushina turned to her husband with a sad look in her eyes. You think he will ever forgive me? She asked as she looked at Minato for an answer. I don't know, but we just have to wait and see, said Minato, also thinking the same as Kushina about Naruto ever forgiving them, but knew that they would have to wait and see if he would forgive them for all they have done. After that, Kushina walked out while Minato went back to checking the mission reports. 2 hours later, Team 7 and the daughters of the 4th Hokage were at the south gate waiting for their senseis, client and other teammate or brother. It didn't take long before Kakashi, Kushina, and Tazuna walked up to the main gate with bags full of survival gear. When they arrived, Kushina looked around, for the only person that was missing was her son. Has any of you seen Naruto? Asked Kushina, as she saw all of them give shrugs or shake of their heads saying no. I'm right here, said Naruto, as everyone turned their heads to see Naruto sitting on a tree reading a book about wind and fire jutsus, as he put the book back into his pouch and jumped off the tree, landing besides his sisters, as he had nothing on him, which confused some of the group. Ni-san, where is your stuff? Asked Mito. Naruto didn't answer her as he raised his wrist, which had 2 medium-sized tattoos, which got surprised looks from Kushina and Kakashi, while confused looks from Team 7 and his 2 sisters. Naruto, when did you learn to do seals? Asked Kushina, with a small amount of pride for her son to be doing something her clan was famous for, while another part was sad that she wasn't able to teach him. Kakashi-sensei, what are those tattoos on Naruto's wrists? Asked a confused Sakura. Those are seals used for transporting small or big objects. Even if you think it can't, it can, even if the seal is small, and it is nice to have more seal masters, as there is not that many in Konoha, said Kakashi, with an eye smile at seeing his sensei's son taking up a difficult art like Funijutsu. Alright everybody, we are going to take a triangle formation with Team 7 in the front and my team will cover the rear with us from behind, said Kushina, as the teams nodded their heads, getting into positions before walking down the path out of Konoha and out the land of waves. After about 3 hours of walking down the path that lead to Wave, since they had to travel at civilian speed, since Tazuna or anyone in Wave was a ninja. After a couple of minutes of walking, Naruto noticed 2 puddles on the side of the road, which made Naruto look at Kakashi and Kushina, who both gave a small nod. Then he looked at the others to see they weren't even noticing it, or they were busy talking with each other. As they passed the puddle, 2 figures came out of it as they both wrapped spiked chains around Kushina and Kakashi, who looked stunned before they were ripped to shreds. Kakshi sensei, yelled Sakura, as she saw her sensei get killed in front of her eyes. Mom, yelled both Naruto and Mito, who were crying small tears as they saw their mom die in front of them, and their anger was rising, for they wanted to kill the person responsible for killing their mom. The only people not reacting to their death was Sasuke, Sai, and Naruto, who looked at the masked Kiri ninja who retreated their chains as they looked, the 6 genins, 3 of which were clam, while the other 3 were either scared or angry, if the anger they were releasing was any indication. 2 down, one of the masked Kiri shinobi said. 6 to go, said the other shinobi. The 2 Kiri shinobi ran at the bridge builder, who looked like their main target. But before they could even get close to the bridge builder, Naruto appeared in front of their path as he had a sword with Gyo on the blade, with the handle green with golden coloring. One of the Kiri ninja was going for a quick kill, thinking that he would not dodge it, but to his surprise Naruto stopped it with his bare hand. Then he put a hold on the blade of his gauntlet as he swung him to a tree as he got knocked out by impact. The other Kiri shinobi got angry at Naruto for knocking out his partner. He was about to go and slash at Naruto with his spiked gauntlet, but stopped as he felt a pain in his stomach, and as he looked down he saw Naruto with her fist embedded in her stomach. Before he could react, Mito appeared in front of him and gave him a mighty spinning kick that sent him flying and slamming into the same tree as his brother, also getting knocked out. Naruto walked over to them with rope that he got from one of his storage seals. "You two can come out now, unless you want us to lead this mission by ourselves," he said as he tied both ninjas to the tree. The others looked at Naruto like he was crazy until they heard movement in the bushes and out come a perfectly fine Kakashi and Kushina who had smiles on their faces. "Kakashi-sensei, how did you, but we saw you get killed," said Sakura, as she looked at her sensei who she thought for a moment was dead. "No, what you saw was a substation that we used, because we needed to find out who these tow targets were, me, Kushina, or the bridge builder." "So Tazuna, mind explaining yourself?" asked Kakashi, in a voice that promised a painful death if not told the truth. "There is no need for him to tell us, because I got all the information I need," said Naruto, as everyone turned to him to see one of his hands on one of the Kiri ninja glowing a dark green. "Tazuna, you had a good reason to lie, as his country is poor and it could only pay for a low C rank, because of a business tycoon named Gato who has token control of Wave and has been killing anyone who oppose him along with taxing many people, leaving many broke and homeless. And if you don't pay your taxes, he sends men over to either kill you or if you have a daughter they take her." After he explained everything, everyone had wide eyes. Some like Naruto and Mito were mad, because of all the things Gato is doing to the people of Wave. While some were being sick of what they did to the women, and the others, mainly Sasuke, didn't care. "Well, Tazuna, is what my son say true?" asked Kushina, who was wondering how her son knew and what that technique he used just now. "Yes, everything he said was true, and I am sorry for lying. It's just that we are so poor that we only had enough money for a simple C rank, and I felt like you wouldn't help if I told you the truth," said Tazuna. "Well, this mission just got bumped up to a B, maybe a rank mission, and I don't think we are ready for this," said Kakashi. "Kakashi, I think we are ready. I mean, I know I could handle myself, while Naruto and Mito can take any Chunin separate, but together they could hold their own against Junin, while you and Kushina could protect the others, or at the very least let them help you," said Naruto, as he grabbed a scroll from his bag and sealed both of the mist nins up in it. Everyone looked at him with a surprised face, since what he said was true and Kushina or Kakashi had nothing to counter for what he said. "Alright, then we will keep on going, but I want all of you to keep your guard up, because next time we might be facing a Junin level ninja," said Kakashi, with a strict tone, as everyone nodded their heads. "What do you want me to do with these two?" asked Naruto, as he waved the scroll that contained the two rogue ninjas. "Well, since they're sealed in that scroll, I'll send one of my ninja hounds to deliver it to Konoha along with a message of what we plan to do," said Kakashi, as he planned on summoning his hound, but was stopped by Naruto, who raised his hand. "I got this," he said as he went through a couple of hand signs, before saying summoning jutsu, and in a puff of smoke a fox the size of a 5-year-old boy with 4 tails and brown fur appeared as its green eye gaze landed on Naruto. "Hello Keto, can you deliver this to Konoha and also give this to the Hokage?" he said as the fox gave a small grin. "Can do, Naruto," said Keto, as it then wrapped one of its tails around the letter and used its mouth to carry the scroll. It then took off in a blur as Naruto turned around to see the questioning looks of Kakashi and Kushina, while the others looked amazed, while one of them looked a little bit jealous. "What, is there something on my face?" "Naruto, was that a fox?" asked Kakashi. "Yeah, so what if it's a fox? I'm their summoner anyway, so what?" said Naruto. "Where did you get that contract?" asked Kushina, as she had an idea who he got it from. "I got from the furball, since he trusts me enough and it helps with my other summonings," said Naruto. "Naruto, we're gonna have a long talk when this mission is over. In the meantime we should be going, but stay close and watch for anything out of the ordinary," said Kushina. Everyone nodded as they all kept on going until something popped in Naruto's head as he suddenly stopped, and everyone stopped walking to look at him for anything that was wrong. "Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you that the other person with those two is Zabuza Monokmi," said Naruto, with a sheepish grin. "I guess I forgot to tell you, ha, ha." Everyone looked at Naruto with a dead planned expression as Kushina walked up to him and gave him a bonk in the head while yelling "Baka." 4 hours later. It had been a while since they fought the Mist Ninjas, and everyone was keeping an eye out for more threats, as Kakashi was actually taking it serious, as he wasn't reading his book and was trying to watch for anything out of the ordinary. They met up with a friend of Tazuna's who would take them across to Wave, and as they were getting on they realized they didn't have enough room as Naruto was standing beside the boat. "Don't worry guys, I'll just water walk to Wave," said Naruto, as he approached the edge of the shore and put one foot on it before putting another and started walking on the water as everyone was amazed by his ability, while Kakashi and Kushina already knew they were still surprised that he learned it all on his own, which made Kushina sad as she could not teach her son. After their problem was solved, they rowed their way to Wave since the engine would attracted to many of Gato's men, and that was something they didn't want to happen, so they kept their senses up and stayed silent through the whole trip, with the only sound being the rowing of the boat or the sounds of Naruto walking on the water. Before long they arrived in Wave, and they knew, because of the giant unfinished bridge that they were passing by. They soon reached land and said their thanks to the boatmen as they continued their walk to Tazuna's home. After about an hour of walking, things seemed to be getting better, but they still kept their guard up. Naruto all of a sudden throws a kunai into some bushes as everyone tenses at Naruto's sudden action. The bushes rustle and out came a white rabbit that jumps in the arms of Naruto, who rubs the rabbit's back as Naruto stares at the spot where he threw the kunai. Naruto baka, why did, said Sakura, but wasn't able to finish her sentence as Naruto put a hand over her mouth. Sakura, would you shut up and listen? This is a winter bunny with white fur that should have turned brown in this kind of wee, said Naruto. Get down, yelled Kakashi, who quickly tackled Tazuna and Sakura to the ground while the others crouched to the ground as a giant broadsword came flying over their heads and indented itself into the tree as everyone got up and saw a man with no shirt, baggy cameo pants with a strap that was to hold the giant sword, with a mask like Kakashi's that covered the bottom part of his face and had his mist headband with a slash mark that showed his status as a missing ninja. Well, no wonder the demon brothers failed if they were facing Kakashi of the Sharingan, said the masked man who jumped off the sword and grabbed his sword. Zabuza Monokmi, demon of the mist, a ranked missing ninja, said Kakashi. Ah, I am so glad that I am known to someone like you, Kakashi. But let's get down to business and hand over the bridge builder and I won't have to kill you all, said Zabuza, with a bit of killing intent. Sorry Zabuza, but we aren't going to abandon our client like that, said Kakashi. And besides, you're outnumbered and outmatched, said Kushina, as she grabbed her sword and got into the Uzumaki sword-style stance. Ah, Kushina Uzumaki, also known as the Red Death of Konoha, it is a pleasure to meet another swordsman and one as fine as you, said Zabuza. Why thank you, but flattery won't get you anywhere, said Kushina. Looks like I won't be taking the bridge builder the easy way. I guess I will have to try the hard way, said Zabuza. He then went through a couple of hand signs and said hidden mist jutsu. A thick mist spread through the area as everyone's vision was cut short as the mist thickens each second. 8 points, which one should I go for, the lungs, heart, kin, but wasn't able to finish as a great gust of wind blew the mist away, but the force of the blast also sent Zabuza skidding farther away from the group. Sorry, Zabuza, but I don't think it's fair if we can't see, but you can, said Naruto, who was in a defense stance with his sword in a reverse grip and his knees bent ready for any movement. Looks like you brought one of your brats, Kushina, and he seems to be pretty skilled for a genin, said Zabuza, who was impressed with Naruto's attitude to the killing intent he was rolling off. Naruto, stand down, he is too much for all of you. Me and Kushina will handle this, said Kakashi, as he lifted his forehead protector to reveal his other eye, which was red with 3-tone. Ah, so I get to see the Sharingan this early, said Zabuza, with a bit of amusement. Zabuza suddenly charged at the group as Kakashi intercepts his target, which was the bridge builder, as he drew a kunai to block a swing from his giant broadsword, but soon found out that Zabuza's strength was better thanks to years of experience with the sword as he pushed Kakashi back, but had to dodge a swing from Kushina, who didn't stop with her assault as she spun around and went for a swing, but was blocked by his sword as he used his brute strength to push Kushina back. He then went through a couple of hand signs before calling out the name of his jutsu. Water style. Water wave jutsu, yelled Zabuza, as he expelled large amounts of water that quickly made its way towards the two teams. Earth style. Earth wall, said Kakashi, as he raised a wall of earth to stop the wave, but it easily broke through it as Naruto grabbed Tazuna and Sakura before Shinshin to high ground as the water made a lake that Zabuza was on, as he now had a wide range of water jutsus. Well, it looks like things are in my favor, said Zabuza, as he was about to go through another set of hand signs when his instincts told him to jump, and as he did a sword came flying out from where he once stood as Kushina jumped atop the water as she was glaring at Zabuza. But before she could move, another Zabuza appeared behind her and kicked her to where the other Zabuza was as he did a couple of hand signs, before saying, "Water style. Water prison jutsu." Water started to form around Kushina until she was trapped in a sphere of water. "Damn, it looks like I have been getting rusty," thought Kushina, as she tried to find a way to escape, but soon found none. "Kushina-sama, mom," yelled Kakashi and the Uzumaki Namikaze sisters. Kakashi quickly went in to face Zabuza's water clone, and as he engaged the clone, he didn't see another clone come up behind him and give him a spinning kick that sent him to the other side of Zabuza as another clone appeared next to him and trapped him in a water prison. "Looks like I win this little skirmish," said Zabuza. "Run kids, take the bridge builder and run, he is too much for all of you," said Kushina. "Yes, run kids, run so that I could finish these two and then I will go after you and kill the bridge builder," said Zabuza. "Sorry senseis, but we aren't going to run away on our first C-rank mission, and remember what you said Kakashi-sensei, those who abandon their mission are scum, but those who abandon their comrades are lower than scum," said Naruto, as he grabbed his sword from one of his storage seals on his wrists. "So you want to fight, brat? Fine, then come at me," said Zabuza, who created 5 more water clones and watched as all 6 ran towards the group of teams 7 and 11. But just before they could reach them, Naruto disappeared and appeared behind all the Zabuza clones with his sword in a cut fashion, and nothing happened for a couple of seconds, but then all the clones showed large cuts on their bodies and turned back into water. "You will have to do better than that, Zabuza," said Naruto, with a small smirk. Zabuza had a scowl on his face as he created another clone that went through some hand signs before yelling out, "Water style. Water dragon jutsu." A giant dragon of water with yellow eyes rose out of the water and headed towards Naruto, who went through hand signs faster than anyone could see. "Wind style. Raging wind blades," he said as he blew huge wind blades that cut through the water dragon and continued towards Zabuza, who had to let go of his jutsu that let both Kushina and Kakashi out as they landed side by side next to Naruto. "You are really annoying, brat," said Zabuza. "Yeah, well, you won't have to worry for long," said Naruto, who started to go through hand signs and finishing by yelling out, "Water style. Water dragon jutsu." A huge dragon formed behind him, before flying towards Zabuza, who also went through hand signs. "Water style. Water wall," said Zabuza, but was surprised when the dragon of water broke through the water wall and before he could react slammed into him and sending him towards a tree, and where Naruto appeared next to him ready to kill him. But before he could finish him, Zabuza was stabbed in the neck by senbon needles and a person with a white mask and eye holes with red marking on the top appearing by the dead body. "Thank you for subduing him, I have been trying to get him for months," said the masked ninja. Kakashi walked towards Zabuza and felt for any pulse, but found none. "He's dead," he said as he walked back to the others and watched as the hunter ninja said his thanks before leaving. "Alright everyone, let's get moving to Tazuna's house. You may lead the way," said Kushina, as she allowed Tazuna to lead them to their house, but had to stop as Naruto was looking in a different direction. "Naruto, let's go," said Kakashi. "Yeah, okay, coming," said Naruto, before he ran up to catch up with the others. What nobody saw was a shadowy figure watching them from afar with a small evil grin that would make Orochimaru's look like a simple smile. "Ha, ha ha, soon I will have my revenge," said the dark figure as his golden yellow eyes shined in the mist as he disappeared in the shadows. Naruto sat on top of the house of Tazuna's house where he, his daughter and her son live. It is also where his team was staying along with Team 7 was staying to finish up this C-rank turn A rank. But it wasn't just for the mission, it was also for the people of Wave, as many were facing tough times that he wished didn't happen to them, and it all started because of one greedy person. Naruto was up on the roof, because of the argument he got into with Tazuna's grandson about how they should just leave and not try to fight someone like Gato, because he is too powerful and how they will all die. Naruto then argued with him that they would not die till they finish the mission, but it was what the boy Inari said that got Naruto mad, as he accused him of not knowing what suffering is and that ninja like them had it all. Naruto would have smacked the kid to the other side of Wave, but Lucky Geo was able to keep him calm, and before anything could get out of hand he simply walked out of the house. but not before saying to Inari that he should be lucky to have a family that loves him and not ignore him for their own suffering. After that, Naruto went into the forest and destroyed nearly half the area, but was tired from the workout and passed out. Naruto woke up later and went back to the house, but decided to wait a bit before entering as he still needed to think about what to do about Gato and Zabuza, who he knew was still alive, as he could sense that the Hunter Nin was watching the battle from the beginning, and Naruto could also tell that the Hunter Nin was using Senbon, which is a perfect weapon to paralysis an opponent, or if hit in the right place can make someone actually look dead for a short time, but it would leave you weakened for about 2 weeks. Unless if you have a skilled medic, and if by how that fake hunter ninja knew where to throw it and was that skilled to throw it, then that hunter ninja was a deadly medic, ninja. "You can come out, I could sense you were watching me," said Naruto, as he turned his head to see Inari coming out of the window and sitting next to him. They just sat there for a couple of minutes watching the night sky along with the waves of the ocean. "Is it true?" said Inari, as he finally broke the tension of between the two. "What's true, the part of where most of my life was being neglected by my family, or the part where most of the village hated me and tried to kill each opportunity they get?" he said as he kept on staring at the night sky. "Why did they do it?" asked Inari, wanting to know how different his life was from his. "To be honest, I don't know. All I know is that if it wasn't for that one person who helped me more than my parents, then I would probably have left the village just so I could be far away from them. But he showed me that was not the right choice, so I just live with it and prove them wrong by training to my full potential," said Naruto, as he turned to Inari, who looked at him with a thoughtful look. "Inari, your father died protecting what he holds dear and cares the most about, but if you are just going to cry about everything, then you are ruining his legacy," he said as Naruto stood up from his spot on the roof and stood on the edge of the roof. "So, what do I do?" asked Inari. "Meet me on the dock tomorrow at 9 a.m. sharp. There I will start to teach you some stuff that will help you defend your loved ones in your country," said Naruto, as he disappeared in a dark green shunshin and leaving the excited Inari, who went inside for tomorrow. Next morning, as the sun was shining in the night sky, Naruto was standing on the edge of the docks watching the waves go back and forth until he heard the sounds of boards creaking, and when he turns around he sees Inari without his hat and a small smile on his face. "So what are you going to teach me today, Naruto-sensei?" asked an excited Inari. "Well, first off, you can just call me Naruto. As for what I'm going to teach you, that is something for when you get more physical strength and give you a good taijutsu style. As for jutsus, I don't know if I have enough time for that, so we will try to get whatever you can learn down," said Naruto, with the evil smile which made Inari rethink if he really wanted to be a ninja. Over the course of the day, Naruto has worked on Inari's strength and weakness and is figuring out how much chakra he had, which when he found out was more than he thought, as he had high genin chakra reserves. So Naruto worked on getting his chakra reserves high, but not too high, and by the end of the day he had low chunin chakra reserves and a couple of bruises. But he was still okay, except for the fact that Naruto had to carry back to the house, where once he got there he saw everyone had the dinner table eating. "Inari," said a worried Tsunami, as she grabbed her son, who was sound asleep. "Don't worry, he is just tired from the training I put him through," said Naruto, as he sat down by the door. "Why did you train Inari?" asked Tsunami, as she took her son and laid him down on the couch. "He asked me if I could train him, and since he got out of his crying mood and started to think of what I said, that is when I started to train him, and you never know if he could use it to protect Wave from anyone else from taking over it," said Naruto, with a small smile. Everyone looks at Naruto with understanding or weariness, but just leave it be. And as the week went by, Inari learned a lot at those couple of days and could probably give genin a run for their money, maybe even chunin, but he is still learning. As the week came to a close, everyone tensed up, as today was the day that Zabuza would attack the bridge, and they were all ready. "Is everyone ready? Because today we will probably have an encounter with Zabuza today, so be on guard," said Kakashi, as everyone got ready and started to make their way to the bridge, with Naruto leaving 2 clones to watch over Tsunami and Inari, while they watch over Tazuna. As they arrived on the bridge, they arrived to see all the bridge builders knocked out with a thick mist all over the bridge, which put both teams on alert as they formed a circle around Tazuna, as out of the mist came Zabuza and the same hunter nin that they saw when they first fought Zabuza. "Zabuza, so Naruto was right about that hunter nin being your accomplice," said Kakashi as he pulled out a kunai, readying for anything he might do. "Ah, so you knew Haku was working for me the entire time," said Zabuza, who was getting intrigued by this kid that was able to handle him. Well, it wasn't hard to figure out if you knew how Anbu Hunter Nin worked, said Naruto, who got into a fighting stance. Zabuza just smiled at the kid, but you couldn't see it, because of his bandages around his mouth. You got a big mouth, Brad, and I would be glad to shut for you for good, but that is not my job as my accomplice's job, said Zabuza as he gave a small laugh. Naruto looked at him with a raised eyebrow until he felt something fast coming behind them as he gave a quick down. Before he tackled everyone to the floor as a giant saw blade flew over their heads, and as they got up Naruto had to jump to the right in order to escape a blast of a red laser that gave a small scratch to his arm. But it quickly healed thanks to both Kurama's and Gio's. Well, it's been a long time, Naruto, it is good to see you again, said the figure with the saw blade came out of the mist to show that he had silver hair with red eyes, a pale face, and was wearing gray-colored shirt under a silver trench coat and silver Anbu pants along with silver boots. Yes, and here I thought this would be a boring fight, said another figure who appeared beside Zabuza and had dark green hair, who also had red eyes and was wearing a dark green shirt with a golden yellow vest over it along with golden pants and dark green ninja sandals. Naruto glared at the two as he knew these two from a long time ago, while the rest were looking at Naruto wondering how these guys knew him. Naruto, who are these guys? Asked Kakashi, who was looking at the guys funny since he sensed that they were powerful. Just two guys I met when I snuck out of the forest to go traveling, said Naruto. Wait, you left the village, but why? Asked Kushina, who hadn't known that Naruto left the village alone along with the others. Yeah, but we'll talk about that later. All you need to know is that these guys are too powerful for any of you to handle. I get them, you guys handle them and don't interfere, this is my fight, said Naruto as he jumped into the water with the other two following him. So Giza, you guys sure you don't want to just run, for you know what happened last time we fought, he said as he didn't want to cause too much damage. So, shall we get started, said Giza, who threw multiple saw blades at him that were flying fast, while Giza raised one of his hands and fired a beam of red energy that put Naruto on the defensive as he was dodging the blades and red energy. They suddenly stopped throwing and shooting, and kunai made of some kind of metal and Giza's hands glowed red before swords made of red energy appeared in his hand. Naruto looked at both of them knowing that they got better judging by their skills and how last it wasn't this hard. Hey Gio, you think you can lend me some of your power? He asked the god in his mind. Sure, and finish it quick, because I can sense your friend's having a hard time fighting, said Gio as he was laying on the ground in his mindscape watching the events unfold. Got it, he said before dark green chakra started to come out of his hands before two small Tanto swords were formed in his hands. So you're finally getting serious, huh, said Giza, who along with Giga ran at Naruto and started to rain down attack after attack. But Naruto was able to hold them back, and when he saw an opening he threw one of the Tantos that made Giza jump away unless he wanted to be one arm short. But once he did that gave Naruto the opportunity to knock both kunais out of Giga's hands and kick him into the air before he threw his Tanto into the air and did a couple of hand signs, before saying multi-blade jutsu, and the one-bladed Tanto turned to 20 and Giga's hands turned into giant blades of saws in order to block the attacks. But since the blades had Gio's chakra they broke through the defense easily, and by the time it ended Giga looked like a pincushion and fell into the water dead. Giga! Yelled Giza as he saw his brother killed before him, and as he turned to Naruto as he saw was red before his eyes turned completely red and his body glowed. Before it blinded Naruto, and when it ended Giza was transformed into some kind of hybrid with green and golden armor along with his hands being swords and having a fin on its back. Now you die, he said in a demonic voice, before red energy started to power up in its fin, and before Naruto knew it he fired it while yelling, Sonic Beam. As a red stream of energy was fired at him and Naruto quickly created a shield from Gio's chakra, but it still made him slam into the column which made him grunt in pain. Damn, that hurt. Hey Gio, I guess it's time to get serious, said Naruto as Gio gave a nod and energy started to surround Naruto as part of his face was turning into a dark green skin while his eye turned into a golden color and his arm became a dark green skin. He also grew 3 tails with spikes on them. It's time to end this, Giza, said Naruto in a demonic yet calm voice. They both started to power their most powerful attacks, with Giza's being a red charge while Naruto's spikes each glowed bright blue with a hint of orange. As they both raised their heads and yelled their attacks. Sonic Beam, yelled Giza as he fired the red stream of energy. Plasma Cannon, yelled Naruto, who fired the bright blue stream of energy that slammed into Giza's attack with each trying to overpower the other. but in the end Naruto was too powerful as his overtook Giza's and hit him, making him screaming till he disintegrated into ashes. Naruto panted as the green chakra receded back into his body, but he couldn't pass out right now as he sensed a lot of people on the bridge, and before he knew it his clone's memories came back to him as two bandits came to Tazuna's house to take Tsunami as a hostage, since Gato was going to double-cross Zabuza by taking him and the rest Konoha ninja out when they are all worn out and tired. Luckily his clone was able to stop them and Inari used his training to take the two bandits down. He then ran to the town with his mom to rally everyone up and get rid of Gato once and for all. As he went to go do that, his clone got any information from the two bandits, and once he got all the information he needed he got rid of the two, before dispelling. Naruto looked up at the bridge as he sensed a lot of people at the end of the unfinished bridge and that the others were getting low on chakra. "Naruto, I think it's time for you to reveal your contract," said Gio, who also knew that the others would die if he didn't help since he was the only one with enough strength to fight. "You sure, Gio, because you know I am going to get a lot of questions after this," said Naruto. "Yes, and I know you don't like your family, but that does not mean you have to let them die along with the others," said Gio. "Fine, but this gonna be a pain to explain," said Naruto, but his thumb and smears the blood from his bicep to his hand before going through a couple of hand signs and slammed the blood hand down onto the water before a giant poof of smoke covered Naruto, who yelled, "Summoning Jutsu! Queen Aiala!" As a mighty roar was heard throughout waves, stopping everyone from what they were doing and feeling the power the creature was radiating. Battle on bridge. Mito was panting as her and her sister Naruko had multiple wounds caused by the masked hunter Ninhu was laying face down, knocked out with a swirl burned on her back from Naruko's Rasengan as her, Mito, and Sasuke tried to take her down, but when she used some kind of ice jutsu that trapped them, and when they tried to escape they would get thrown back and get hit with senbon needles that knocked out Sasuke and would have knocked her out if it wasn't for her sister, who used a special kind of exploding tags that blew the mirrors, and when the hunter Nen wasn't looking got hit in the back with a Rasengan that knocked her out since she didn't use a full Po-1. Her mom or Kakashi weren't doing good either as they had more cuts and bruises, but were able to stop Zabuza, who was pinned down by a bunch of dogs, and as Kakashi was going to kill him with one of original jutsu, the Chidori, but was stopped by a shake of the bridge, and when he cancelled the jutsu they heard clapping, and when they turned to the source they saw GATP with 100 of thugs behind him with weapons of all kinds ready to kill something. "Gato, what are you doing here?" asked Zabuza through the pain. "Well, I realized you pay too much, so why not hire these gentlemen for a reasonable price to not only take you out, but the Konoha ninja along with the bridge builder," said Gato with an evil smile. "Well, I guess we are not enemies anymore, Kakashi," said Zabuza. "Guess not," said Kakashi as he told his dogs to let him go, and once he did Kakashi threw him his sword. "Huh, you think you have enough strength to beat all of my men? We'll go ahead and try," said Gato. "Hey, why don't we take the women for a little fun?" one of the thugs said. All the women were disgusted or creeped out, but before they could say anything a loud roar stopped everyone from what they were doing as they saw a shadowy figure jump onto the bridge in front of them, which turned out to be Naruto with a few bruises. "You know I don't like my family much, but when you say stuff like that I will step in no matter what," said Naruto with a voice that made many take a step back. "What are you waiting for? He just one kid, kill them all," said Gato, which got many to stop quivering and for 10 thugs to run at him. But before they could get close the wind picked up and the 10 thugs stopped before their heads came flying off their bodies, which scared many. But as they were looking at the kid with fear they did not notice the thick mist roll onto the bridge covering everything and blocking everyone's view until the sounds of something being sliced was heard, and as one of the thugs turned their head he noticed his friend's head on the ground and gave a yell as many others followed, and before long the yells stopped and silence rained down as everyone was looking at the most before something came rolling towards Zabuza's feet, and when it stopped it showed Gato's head with a scared expression. Anyone who hasn't seen something worse than right now started to puke, while some just passed out, in this case Sakura. As for the others who have seen worse looked into the mist that was slowly disappearing, before it vanished, showing the bloody corpses of the bandits that were everywhere and no one could tell which part was which. In the middle of the mess was Naruto, who had no blood on him except for the sword at his side, which shocked everyone including the Juins. But what shocked them was the giant serpent figure that was behind him with blood coming out of its mouth. "Thanks for the assistance, Aiala," thanked Naruto, who flicked the blood off his sword before putting it back in one of the sealing tattoos in his arm. "No problem, Naruto-kun, it was a pleasure killing scum like that, and because I heard what that one bandit said along with that everyone agreed with, so it was my pleasure, said Aiala, who puffed into smoke showing that it was a summoning animal. As Naruto turned around he saw the shocked faces of everyone along with Sasuke and Haku, who woke up, and the other whose mask was broken off. "What is there something on my face?" he asked as everyone's sweat dropped at that. "Namikaze, what was that?" ordered Sasuke, who wanted to know what that thing was and how he could get one. "That was my summoning animal who just saved yours and everyone's asses," said Naruto with a calm tone. "Wait, you have a summoning contract since when?" asked Kushina, who didn't know her son had a summoning contract since Yajirobe wanted Naruto to sign the Toad contract so that maybe he can get closer to the family. "Yes, and that was one of the animals, even though it isn't the strongest she helped," said Naruto. "But shouldn't you be grossed out by all this?" asked Zabuza. "No, actually it is the opposite, as I have killed many animals in one of Konoha's deadly forests, so it isn't new to me," said Naruto. Zabuza just nodded as everyone started to head back to Wave, and on their way they met Inari and the people of Wave, who had weapons from rakes to pans. Once they heard and saw that Gato was dead, they celebrated the end of their tyrant and that night had a huge party for their freedom, while the others were discussing what to do next and were asking if Zabuza or Haku would like to come to the Leaf since they were missing ninja, and when they thought about it they knew they were tired of running, so they just agreed with them. And for the rest of the week Tazunas and more workers along with Naruto started to build the bridge and finished in no time flat. When nightfall came many celebrated the finish of the bridge with Zabuza and teams 7 and 11 joining, except for Naruto, who was sitting on a rock by the shore watching the waves come back and forth on the shore. He then heard the sound of footsteps, and when he turned his head he saw Haku in a dark blue kimono that showed her curves and sizable bust, which proved she was a girl. "Hey Haku, what you doing out here?" asked Naruto. "Just wanted to see you and confirm something that Inari said," Haku said as she sat down by him. "And what did the squirt say?" asked Naruto with a raised eyebrow. "He said that you were mistreated in your village and that you got neglected in your family, because they were special," said Haku. "Yes, but if you want to learn the truth, well, I am glad that they neglected me, because if they hadn't then I wouldn't have met the one person who not only trained me, but also was like a father to me, and it was because of him that I stayed who I am," he said as he looked at the night sky with a smile as he remembered the first time he met Gio and how he acted like a father and sensei to him more than anyone. "I guess we have a lot in common," she said as he turned to her with a quieted eyebrow. "Care to explain what you mean on that?" asked Naruto. "Well, just like you, I was hated, because I have a bloodline that many hate and blame for war, but also because we are having a civil war because of it. But unlike the others, I had a good life till I found out about my ability and showed it to my mom, who was the same and told me never to use it, but it would seem my father, who hated bloodline users, saw it, and when he told his buddies they came to the house and killed my mother. Then they were about to kill me, but I used my bloodline to kill them, and from then on I was alone as I lived on the street for a couple of months before Zabuza found me and took me as an apprentice, and when he failed to kill the Mizukage we ran and hide working to survive, and over time I started to think I was his weapon, nothing more nothing less, but after you defeated us he showed me that I wasn't his weapon and that I was a daughter to him, and I was happy to hear him say that," said Haku with a smile. Naruto gave a small smile back, before looking back at the sky. "So what are you and Zabuza going to do when you become ninja? I mean, you will be put in the CRA law and the council will try and make Zabuza teach his ways to the last Uchiha," said Naruto with sarcasm. "Well, I don't know about being a breeding stock, but I do know one thing I want," said Haku. "And what wou?" But before he could finish he was interrupted by a pair of lips meeting his as his eyes widened, as it took him a couple of minutes to understand what happened, before just going with it and kissed her back. The two of them just paid their kissing each other till they separated for air, as Haku had a blush on her face while Naruto, if you look close, could see a faint blush. "Sorry about that, it's just that ever since I saw you and heard what you have been through I had this feeling in me, and at first I didn't know what it was till I saw you again on the bridge and when you treated me," said Haku. "Well, of course I wouldn't let anything happen to something as pretty as you," said Naruto with a small chuckle as he saw Haku blush. "Well, just so you know, I have someone else back home. But since I am technically a namikaze I can take the CRA law and you can decide on who to date," said Naruto as she saw that Haku a surprised look before giving a thinking look and finally looked at him with a smile. "I am willing to share, but we deserve equal attention," said Haku with a smile as she got closer to Naruto. "Don't worry, I am not like my parents and treat everyone who isn't a fair," said Naruto as he kissed Haku on the lips, and the both sunk into the kiss till they needed air, and both decided to have fun at the party since they do leave tomorrow. But what they didn't notice was the lone figure with a giant sword on his back watching them. "You better treat my daughter good, Naruto, because if I hear that she was treated wrong I will cut your manhood out and then make you suffer unbearable pain," thought Zabuza as he headed back to the party. The next day everyone including the villagers were at the finished bridge giving their thanks and goodbyes to Team 7 and 11 along with Zabuza and Haku, who was holding Naruto's hand, and as they said their goodbyes to Tazuna and his family Inari with a teary goodbye. But Naruto gave him a promise that he would return and to keep training by giving a bag of scrolls he thought would be useful along with chakra paper to see what affinity he had. As they grabbed their stuff and started to walk down the road to Konoha, Tazuna and the people of Wave decided to name the bridge the Great Naruto Bridge to honor their hero, while said hero was busy thinking of a way to explain what happened and his new abilities to everyone including his father. While he could worry about that later as he enjoyed his time walking with Haku, who gave a smile towards him. It was a bright day in Konoha as the two teams of 7 and 11 along with two extra companions were walking down the road towards the village gates, and when they got there they saw both of the Chunin guarding it asleep. But this gave Naruto a huge smile as he grabbed something from inside his cloak before he showed it to be a water balloon, and as everyone watched him hold it above their heads till it exploded, splashing the water onto the two sleeping Chunin, whose head shot up as they were yelling about being wet while Naruto was laughing his ass off by rolling on the ground. The two Chunins glared at him before sitting back down and asked for their business in Konoha. Teams 7 and 11 reporting from successful C-turned-a-ranked mission, said an eye-smiling Kakashi. "Okay, and who might these two be?" asked one of the Chunin. "Oh, this is someone that would be interested in joining our village, but we need to ask the Hokage for permission," said Kakashi. "Alright then, but they will need to be escorted," said the other Chunin as 4 Anbu appeared and started to walk to the Hokage Tower with all 14 people. And when they got there they saw Minato doing paperwork on his desk with a frustrated look on his face until he saw both teams enter his office, and he gave a smile as he told the Anbu to leave since other Anbu were watching. Team 7 and 11 reporting from completed C-turn-B-turn-a-ranked mission, with a couple of new people that wished to join the Leaf Sensei, said Kakashi. Minato looked at Zabuza and Haku, who was holding Naruto's hand and getting a raised an eyebrow at that, but didn't comment as he looked at Zabuza and then to Haku before getting in a thinking position as to think if he should allow a missing ninja like Zabuza to join the village. It would be good to have another skilled swordsman in the village. But the 1001st would not take to kindly to having one of their missing ninja being in another village. But they were in a civil war, and last he heard the rebels were winning, so if he was lucky they would win, and maybe he could make an alliance with them to not make them want to come after them. And since the current Mizukage was the reason Zabuza is a missing with Haku, he could allow her since she is skilled, and from what Kakashi told about the mission they completed, it said that she was able to use ice, and that could very useful if you train properly and learn to control it, then you get a powerful ninja. It was also good that she wasn't an official ninja, so Mist couldn't do anything about her, and he wouldn't want his son to go on a rampage if they kill her since he obviously likes her. Well, from what Kakashi told me, you two are skilled and would be useful Konoha with your skills and bloodline, but will cause some problems that will be dealt with at a later time. But for now, he then grabbed 2 Konoha headbands in one of his drawers before throwing them at. You two are now officially shinobi of the Hidden Leaf. Also your ranks will be the same as in Mist Zabuza. While Haku, you will do a test to see what rank you get. Understood? Good. For now you Zabuza will be watched for about 4 months and escorted by a Jonin or higher. He then waited for them to digested the information given before they said their thanks and walked out of the office, followed by both teams 7 and 11. But Team 11 had to stay behind to discuss some stuff, and Naruto already knew what he wanted to talk about. Naruto, I wanted to talk about what you did on the bridge along with you leaving the village and about you having a summoning contract. Minato was surprised at first since Jiraiya had insisted on getting Naruto to sign the Toad contract so they could maybe get closer to him, but now that they know he has a contract they might not get that chance. Well, what do you want to talk about first? Asked Naruto, who took a seat in front of the Hokage. Well, can you first tell me why you left the village and how you did it? Said Minato, who was also shocked to know that his son had left the village without him knowing. Well, I wanted to train, and if I did it in the forest then it would be nothing more than a pile of ash right now, as I needed to find a place that could handle my training, said Naruto. And you couldn't have told us or anyone so that we could at least have made sure you would have been okay, said Minato with a worried expression. No, because I thought you wouldn't care or just brush it off and let me go. Besides, I can take care of myself, said Naruto with a calm voice and face as he watched both his parents flinch since they are reminded of how they failed their son. Well, still, you should have told us anyway. The next thing I want to talk about is what kind of jutsus you did on the bridge, and if you could give an example, asked Minato, who when he read it in the report he couldn't believe his son got this strong. Well, that is a special ability I have thanks to a special someone, and I could do more, but for those two I faced it wasn't required, and if you want to see an example, said Naruto as he held out his hand and dark green chakra started to surround it before it formed into a small tanto. Everyone in the room, including the Anbu in hiding, were in awe as they saw the fourth Hokage's son form something with pure chakra like his mother Kushina. Naruto, this is incredible, and it looks the same as when your mom can create her chains with her chakra, said Minato with pride in his son. Well, actually it is sort of like mom's chakra chains, except that they are stronger and can hold down something more powerful than the Kyuubi, and I could shape it into anything I want on any part of my body. I can do other things with it too. But I won't give out any more details, said Naruto as he looked out the window, while his parents were in shock of what he could do as his skills and power alone could make him high Juin to low Anbu or more since he hasn't shown all of his abilities. Okay then, but could you tell us about your summoning contract and those other two missing ninja that were with Zabuza at the bridge that you fought? Asked Minato as when he heard his wife explain about her sensing the two that Gato hired they were at least 2 taels worth of chakra, which scared him. But luckily his son was able to kill them. Well, if you want to know about my summoning contract, well, it is actually not my only contract as I also have another contract, said Naruto. Wait, another contract, said Kushina. Yes, and if you're wondering what it is, it's the fox contract as I have been good friends with the fox, said Naruto as he saw the shocked looks of his parents. Wait, there is a fox contract and the Kyuubi let you sign it, said Kushina, a little worried that maybe the fox was trying to trick her son or that it was some kind of trap. Don't worry, the fox isn't that bad, he is actually someone nice to talk to when you are being neglected and beaten, and he along with someone who shall not be named are the ones who helped train me to become who I am today, said Naruto with the same calm tone of voice. His parents were looking at him wide-eyed as their son just said that he is friends with the fox and that it along with someone else trained him to be able to take on a group of Anbu and tame the fox's chakra without no one noticing. Their son was a prodigy in the making. If he could do this all with only a little help now, that is something to be proud of. But they just felt more sorrow as they were not the ones who helped him achieve this feat. Now if you were wondering who those two ninja on the bridge were, well, it is hard to explain, but I will give a short and simple answer, said Naruto as he gave his two a serious gaze that made them a little nervous. They were hired demons who were sent to kill me or capture me, as when I left the village to train I also gave away my location to the ones who were trying to kill me, he said as his parents' eyes grew and their parental instincts kicked in. Who wants to hear you, son? Asked Minato. People who are powerful enough to easily take over the elemental nations by themselves and hardly get any damage, said Naruto, shocking all who were in the office. How do you know this? Asked Kushina. Because I told him, said an age-old voice which shocked everybody except Naruto as the Anbu surrounded their leader, while out of the shadows appeared a man who looked 40 and had dark green hair that was long and straight only stopping at his shoulders, while he was wearing a light green shirt and body armor with dark green Anbu-style pants and sandals. Who are you and how did you get in? Asked Minato as he went for his kunai, but stopped when he saw his son's hand come up telling them to wait. Sorry, but I can't let you hurt my sensei, said Naruto, shocking everyone there as the man in front of them is the one who helped teach their son. You know they couldn't have harmed me, Naruto, said Gio. Yay, but hey, it saves the trouble of them not getting their asses beat, said Naruto as he looked at him with a bored look. So you are the one who taught my son? Asked Minato. Yes, and he was a great student as you could tell by the few times you have seen him fight, said Gio. Yes, he was impressive, said Minato. Yes, but that is not what you want to discuss, is it? Asked Gio. No, I want to know who is after my son and if I can help in any way, asked Minato as he felt like he had a feeling he knew who it was if Jiraiya's information was correct. Well, if you think it's that group of tail beast hunters, then you are sadly mistaken, as it is actually 3 different people who are trying to find him, each more powerful and with enough backing that could destroy this planet, said Gio as he saw the fearful expressions on their faces. If you are right about their power, then how are we supposed to stop them? Asked Kushina. Your son is the key, as the night that you sealed the Kyuubi, the Shiganmi sealed something more powerful and destructive inside of him that made him meant for great things, and one of those things is to stop the ones who will destroy the world, said Gio. Wait, how do you know? We are seal masters and we would have seen it, asked Minato. Because I kept it hidden, said Gio. What do you mean you? Said Minato till he put the dots together along with his wife. You are the one who is trapped in him, asked Kushina. Well, actually I am not trapped as you could see, but the only way for me to be stopped is if you are stronger than me or if you seal me. But you have to have God status and God sealing, said Gio. Wait, you can't be that powerful. I mean, I can sense you and your chakra level is pretty high, but not that high, said Kushina. That is, because I am suppressing my power to one of a Junin, but if you want to feel my true power, Naruto, would you please? Asked Gio as Naruto gave a sigh, before getting up from his seat and doing a couple of fast hand signs, before slamming his hands on the ground as symbols started to appear on the walls and everywhere, before it disappeared and Gio did 3 hand signs before saying, release. And in that quick motion everyone except Naruto fell to their knees as the chakra level was making them hard to stand in breath as they had wide eyes at the sheer force of the chakra, and just as they were on the verge of falling to the floor the chakra was gone as everyone got up, but now had wide eyes as they looked at the kami-made man. Now that you believe my sensei about what he was saying and that it will take me and him to defeat the ones whose power are almost the same as him, but if you want to know why they are after me, then hear his story, said Naruto. Everyone they turned to Gio as he sat in an open chair next to Naruto and began his tale. It all started many eons ago when the earth had just formed and many would say nothing was living back then, but they were wrong as when the earth was created meteors of giant proportions fell on the surface giving birth to the first ever creatures of this planet and the first ones to have created chakra. They were known as kaiju. Monsters with incredible power, with some being as powerful as the gods themselves. He said as he looked at the shocked faces of the Hokage, his wife, and Anbu. But it didn't end there, as unlike your ninja world these monsters were able to get along and work together, coexisting with one leader, and that leader was me, the king of the monsters, Godzilla. He looked at their odd faces until Kushina decided to ask the question that was on their minds. What happened to them? She asked. Humans is what happened, as soon there were humans walking among us and at first we ignored it, until they started to get advanced in technology and soon they sought our land and started to attack us. At first we were surprised and that cost us some of our people. But we were able to fight back, and when it looked like we were about to win they did something unspeakable that made me go on a rampage, that it was the reason the gods sealed me away. But they didn't know the extent of my powers and so I was able to escape my prison. But Yami blocked my path and tried to stop me. But as I was full of rage, and rage is what makes monster unleash all of their powers, I was able to beat Yami and escaped back into the world where humans were less than advanced but still dangerous, and all the monsters were at war with them, except that instead of fighting together they fought each other, and so I became the defender of the planet, trying to reconnect all the other monsters, and soon we would need to work with the humans as my brother came back and almost destroyed the world. But me and the other monsters sacrificed ourselves to stop him and seal him away, and when we thought it was the end, Kami came before us all and gave us a second chance and allowed us to live in another world, as what you would call summons. But we had to wait for the perfect summoner, and so we were sent to a place called Monster Island where we all live in peace. But there was a catch. In order for them to live free and safe, I was to be sealed away inside the death god's stomach until the time came where a worthy summoner would be picked to lead us, and so on the day of the Kyuubi attack when you summoned the death god he sealed me inside your son, and for years I waited and watches as he was abused and neglected until the time came for me to talk to him, and when he was about to be killed I took over his mind and killed them. Sealed me inside of young Naruto here, and as he grew up I was able to analyze the seal and figure a way for me to make contact with Naruto, and on the day he was attacked was the perfect time for me to not only introduce myself, but save him as well. Both Minato and Kushina heads dropped a little as they knew it was their fault that he was beaten that day. After that I started to train him in the ancient ways of fighting, along with controlling my power and any other training he needed, and when he met with the fox he befriended him. About 2 years ago he faced and defeated the fox to tame its chakra that I helped him in trying to control it, and with time he also was able to control my chakra, said Gio as he saw the shocked faces of all those present except Naruto's, who was reading a scroll about sealing. He put it down as soon as his sensei stopped talking and looked at him as he gave Naruto a nod. He put the scroll in his pocket. Okay, then I know there are a lot of questions, but first let me tell you about some things that are gonna happen. The first is that in a couple of months at the Chunin exams Orochimaru will add me PT to attack the hidden village with the help of either sand or earth, which will be easy as one of them hates Konoha and the other is of a daimyo who gave half of Sand's missions to Konoha along with cutting their budget, so attacking Konoha would help them show their daimyo that they are far more superior. Also there is the fact that whoever is trying to kill us will send someone to the exams as a perfect way to kill me without being hunted as killing is permitted. But I will try my best to get them off my tracks as I know the first 2 tests are gonna be teamwork and I will just wait till the finals as then I will be able to see who is the one they sent after me and if possible face and defeat him, said Naruto as he looked at all the wide eyes of all the people in the room. So I get that Orochimaru wants revenge, but what is he really gonna offer Sand as I know a few things Earth can get out of this invasion. But what about Sand, what can he offer them, said Minato. Well actually there was one part 1 left out about Sand, said Naruto. Oh, and what would that be, asked Minato. Well, on my travels outside of the village, I might have visited a few of the hidden villages and may have meant the cages, said Naruto a little embarrassed. Wait, you're telling me they captured you, asked Kushina. No, they just talked to me about what I was doing in their village and once I told them they felt perplexed. But in order for them not to make me a weapon I helped some of their ninja with training and have them seals to help with either security or anything of importance, said Naroro. It technically put him on their good side and it made them put in a few arranges with some of the people they meant, said Gio. Oh, and what are these arranges you arranged, Naruto, asked Minato. It's the marriage proposal of the 2 stepdaughters of the Raikage, the daughter of the Kazakage, the Mizukage herself, and a special I helped out when I visited Taki, said Naruto who saw the wide eyes of the men, the angry look Kushina had. Don't worry, they won't get married till they turn to the proper age and so they would get to know each other more, said Gio as he wanted to ease the tension. Also I wanted to get permission have a short absence so that I can learn something that Gio has been teaching me that would help with the challenge I am going to face at the Chunin exams, said Naruto. Well, you are going to be taking a break, maybe like a week or 2, but Minato wasn't able to finish as Gio interrupted him. I am sorry to interrupted you, Hokage-sama, but what we were asking for is maybe a month or 2 as the ones we faced on the bridge were just scouts. The ones they will send will be twice as strong or even more as when it comes to me they will send the strongest to kill me or capture me, said Gio. Well, I don't know as your team would have to either be on probation or be taking D ranks until you come back, said Minato. Don't worry, it won't be that long and with the way he learns things we might make it back early, but we will keep in contact, said Gio. Well, alright, but no more than 2 months, said Mianto as he grabbed a paper and wrote a few things down, before giving it to Naruto. Don't worry, Hokage-sama, we will be back before you know it, said Naruto as he and Gio disappeared in light green flames leaving the others awed. Uncown place. In a dark empty cave where a giant statue stood high and tall as 8 people appeared on the thumbs of the stoutest with 2 of them being actually there while the others were holograms. So how goes the hunt for the Buji? Asked a tall man with green eyes. It's going fine as we have found both the 4 and 5 tails who are still wandering Earth Country. The 8 tails is teaching the 2 tails how to tame its chakra, while the 7 tails is still in Taki along with the 1 tail. But we have not found the 6 tails and the 3 tails has not reformed yet, said a tall plant man. Well, if that is all, said a man with purple ripple-like eyes. Well, actually there is some very interesting news, said the same plant man, except with a more happy tone. It seems that 7 of the 9 are going to the Chunin exams that are being held in Konoha, said the plant man except with a more darker and mature tone. Well, that is certainly good news and more fun, said a tall man who had a fish-like appearance. Yes, this would make things go faster, but that would also mean we would have to face all 5 of the cages and I doubt all of us can deal with them and the tailed beasts, said a man with Sharingan eyes. Which is why I will send a team disguised as genin to the exams to capture the tailed beasts, said the rippled eyes man. Really, and who do you have that is strong enough to beat a Jinchuriki? Asked a man with 1 eye and a ponytailed hair. You just leave that to me, in the meantime raise funds in case the team fails and we will move out in 3 years, which should be enough time to earn find, get stronger and wait for the 3 tails to regenerate, said the purple-eyed man as the rest disappeared, but the he and the only women stayed behind. So who do you have that you're sending to the exam? So, said the women to no one in particular. Oh, don't worry about who I am sending as they will be able to handle it and their sensei will help just in case, said a deep dark voice that brought chills and fear to the 2 of them. A dark figure that was the same size as the purple-eyed man except he had dark purple eyes that if you saw them you would see the evil in them. Are you sure your team can handle getting 7 Jinchurikis, as it can pose a problem if they all work together to take down your team, said the women. Oh, you don't have faith in my team, Conan. Please, my team can easily handle 7 Jinchuriki. It's the soul of the Kyuubi that worries me, as he might pose a problem. But don't worry, as I know one of them will be able to handle him, and if not, well, he is of no use, said the dark figure. Also, Nagato, if this fails we will have to resort to plan B, which will take a while. But if all goes according to plan we will achieve our goals, said the dark figure with a manic grin as both Nagato and Conan gave nods before disappearing, leaving the dark figure alone. Soon Gio, you and your little buddy will suffer, and once you're gone I will destroy the rest of your family and have my vengeance, said the dark figure as he laughed an evil laugh, while a dark figure 5 times the size of the statue stood tall as it opened its golden eyes and purple crystals glowed electric on its back, before giving off a mighty roar.
That's all for now. If you want to see next part, then please like this video and subscribe my channel. Thank you.